Hello everyone, Teacup Tempest here, and today I'm going to be talking about the new Minecraft Snapshot. It is the 21W08A, and there's been a couple of changes, and one of them is kind of controversial depending on who you talk to, and that is the name change. They have changed the name of Grimstone to Deepslate. And in my opinion, I actually like the name change. I saw a tweet, and and I can't remember the guy's name, starts with a J, one of the main Minecraft guys, he tweeted about making the shade of the Grimstones a little lighter, and somebody commented and was like, well, since it's a lighter gray now, it actually is closer to the color of slate, and that could potentially be a better name for it. So I guess he took that into consideration and decided to call it Deepslate. And this person also in their tweet suggested maybe that you could introduce a block in between the slate and the black stone and have it be called Brimstone. So that would be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing if that ends up being the case, but I'm not hung up on the name change. I love the name Brimstone. I keep calling it Brim, and that's why we needed a name change. So I'm not calling it Brimstone instead of Grimstone. But I digress. The Deepslate is a pretty good name. So even though I like Grimstone a little bit better. So behind me you have my little town. I have updated this to the newest snapshot, and when I loaded it up I just didn't see a big difference. Nothing really stuck out at me as far as, I didn't load it up and be like, oh, I don't like this at all. I loaded it up and it was quite okay. The shade change is so slight, it doesn't really change much. So let's take oops, I did not mean to go into that camera view. Let's take a little gander through the town so you can see for yourself that there's just not anything major that changed with the shade change. Everything pretty much works really well together like it did before. So I have nothing to complain about with the shade change. Over here I did a little bit of play testing with the new blocks. So I laid some of them out here, did kind of a little gradient. We got Deepslate, cobbled Deepslate, the polish, the stone, the tiled, the chiseled, and then we've got smooth basalt now. So let's go over here. I laid down the black stone, the Deepslate, and the stone together so you could kind of see what those three look like together. And then I did the same thing with the stone variant. And over here I tried to make the three stone variants work together. I'm not a huge fan of trying to shoehorn these three together though. I feel like the black stone is a cooler tone than the Deepslate and the stone. I feel like it has a little bit of a warmer tone to it. So it's just, the black stone just doesn't really work too well with them. I've seen builds that, and I have done builds that do look well, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of blackstone anymore. when it first was introduced, I was like super excited. I was like, yeah, finally a black stone. I've been wanting more black and gray, like deep grays in the game. Now I can finally make these really cool gothic builds. Do the pointy spikes and whatnot, and I ended up not being a huge fan, to be honest. Even though at first I was super excited. But with the Deepslate, I don't think I'm going to have that same issue. There was always a part of me that just didn't want to admit that I didn't like the Blackstone. I wanted to just be excited about it. But I digress. And then over here, I made a little wall design. I do like the cobbled Deepslate as a roof because it can kind of look like a cobbled roof or a like you've tried to do like a shingles for a roof. So I do like that, and this is kind of a preferred wall design. I'm still not a huge fan. I would have to change something up in here. I'd probably do maybe like a lighter, maybe like the stone for the detail bits, because I feel like this is just too bland, but it does look good together. And then over here, I started playing around with the two blocks, the Deepslate and the cobbled Deepslate. So the thing to note about the Deepslate is they changed the top and bottom texture, as you can see here. And I'm just not... I'm a fan of the texture. I'm not a fan of it only being on the top and bottom. I would much prefer this texture to be all the way around. I think that makes more sense. But that's just my opinion. It does make a good road design, which I will show you in a minute. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I like the idea of this block having its own like all around texture, and this one having its own all around texture, and then being able to use them however we want. But I think this change has been more maybe like a way to make the caves look different. So I'll reserve my opinion a little bit because I'm looking at it from a builder standpoint versus a cave, like making a cave look good standpoint. But that's my thoughts on it so far. And then let's come over here and look at, oh my gosh, this weather. And look at the basalt, because they've added the smooth basalt. So here you have the basalt top up versus sideways, and I really like these two together. And I have a road design behind me that I will show you that this works really well together as a road design. And in here you can see the same thing but with the polished basalt, just to show you a bit of how they all look together. Okay, now let's get over here and look at this road design. Here I used the basalt textures, and it's a little rougher looking than the one with the Deepslate. So really it's just your preference. I do really like this road design. I like that it's, you know, not as contrasty. And now I gotta change the time. And I think it can be really good if you don't want a super contrasty road design, and it really just depends on what you're wanting to go for. As far as like my town over here, I did go a little out of character for myself and did do quite a bit of a contrasty road. I probably should have actually did and I may go through and change it to these two because these houses are pretty nice. So I should have made more of a fancier road than this instead of doing more of a like broken up, cobbled up street. But it still looks good, I think. I think it adds a little more character to it as well. But I may do some changing and see what I think. But yeah, that's pretty much been this update. There's not a ton that I would, normally talk about. They've done a little bit of change to the ores, and I actually do really like these Deepslate ore looks. So let's actually grab some of these and look at them because they are quite pretty. I'm really loving the way they look, and I don't know if it's just because it's new, so therefore better than the stone variants, but I'm liking it. And overall I'm liking the texture changes that they've been doing to the ores. And I do like how they changed the copper to make it a little bit easier to distinguish from the iron. That was my complaint with the last one, which they've even changed the iron up, so it'll be easy to tell the two apart now. In the last update, they were still similar enough that I was like, well, it's going to be kind of hard to tell the difference between these two. But overall, I'm really liking the changes. I absolutely love that they've been updating Minecraft, been adding all these new blocks and all these new features. It's just, I'm excited for the future of this game. This game has been around forever, and now they're really going in and just making all these changes, and it's just gonna make Minecraft be a game that stays with us for a long time, and I love that. This is a really nice game. For it to be as old as it is, I still find myself wanting to build and play. It's a great creative outlet for me, but I also love to just resource gather and explore, and it's just, yeah, Minecraft's pretty awesome. But otherwise, I believe that's all I got for you guys today. I just wanted to hop in here and do a quick little video on this new update. Please like and subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that way you get notified whenever I upload videos. I'm hoping to have some more videos for you guys soon, with the tower build and a house build and stuff like that, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's all I got for you. Until next time, goodbye.